I'm the small one. Eight, at 8 years old, I'm smaller than everyone else my age. When I walk in the halls of school, I have to squeeze in between the bigger kids to get by. Sometimes they bump into or step on my toes. Sorry, Sophie, I didn't see you. You say. At the playground, little kids always want to play with me. Some even try to boss me around. Don't climb up that big slide, little girl, one kindergartner warned me last week. You might fall and hurt yourself. I think I'll be okay, I said. She watched me slide down, her mouth gaping open. My best friend Casey is one of the tallest kids in the school in second grade. Her legs are so long that when she walks, I have to jog to keep up with her. Sometimes grown-ups ask her, "Who's your little friend?" One day while I was over at Casey's house, her grandma's her grandma thought Casey was babysitting me. "This is Sophie," Casey explained. "My best friend." "So sweet," her grandma said. She leaned toward me and smiled brightly. "What grade are you in, Sophie?" she asked. "Second grade," I answered. She blinked at in amazement, then glanced over at Casey. "Is that true?" she asked. That really rubbed me the wrong way. I used to try to make myself taller whenever I could. My posture was perfect, straight as an arrow. I hung from the tree in our backyard to stretch in limbs. I ate all my vegetables, even Brussels sprouts. Every day I measured myself to see if I'd grown any taller, but I was the same height every time. It was frustrating. frustrating. "Don't worry," Mom said. "I don't let my size slow me down, and neither should you. Besides, being small has its advantages." I studied Mom's surprise. I'd never thought of her as small, but I suppose she is. Still, I couldn't see any advantage to it. One day, Mrs. Alvarez announced to the class that we'd be putting on a spring play. "You should try for the lead role," Casey encouraged me. "I don't think I'll get it," I sighed. "Mrs. Alvarez probably wants someone bigger. Once she sees how good you are, you'll get the part," she said. At the audition, I waited with my classmate in the back of the auditorium. When it was my turn, I walked up to the center of the stage. I had practiced all the lines, but I never got chance in deliver them. "Sophie," Mrs. Alvarez cried, "you'll be perfect at the elf. You are just the right size for the costume." When the audition were finished, Mom was waiting outside for me. "Mrs. Alvarez, make me an elf," I grumbled. "That sounds like fun," she said. "I don't want to be playing anymore." I said. Oh, honey, I know you didn't get the part you wanted, but I also know you love acting. I'll bet you'll be the best elf to play. That won't be hard to do, I thought. See, I'm the only elf in the play. I only had two lines, but I went to rehearsals, rehearsals, just to please mom and dad. Mia got the lead role, a girl wandering through a magical fairy forest in search of her lost dog. In Last Stand, she finds a box under a giant mushroom, and when she opens it, guess what jumps out? Mrs. Alvarez's dog. Prince played the dog role. She brought him to all the rehearsals, and when he wasn't on stage, we got to play with him. He liked all the attention from the other kids, but he seemed to like me best. The night of the show, the first light came early. Let's ask the Fairy Queen. Dramatic stuff. See, my only other line was toward the end. I waited on stage, taking turns stretching Prince and stretching myself. As a bonus, the elf costume fit me not only like a glove, but like a thick, wool, itchy glove. When it was time for the grand finale, Mrs. Alvarez placed Brand inside a box, and then the box was brought on stage. When Mia opened the box, Prince jumped out as planned, but he jumped into the giant mushroom, which fell over. Not planned. Before Mrs. Alvarez could catch him, the freeing dog leaped off the stage and disappeared underneath it. Mrs. Alvarez called him, but he whimpered and refused to come out. The lights came on in the theater, and the audience started to fidget in their seats. The entire class gathered at the edge of the stage. How are we going to get him out there? Mrs. Alvarez asked. I'm small enough to squeeze under there, I said. I'll get him. I crawled through the dust and cobwebs beneath the stage until I reached Prince. In the dark, I could hardly to see him, but as I talked to him softly, he licked my face. When we emerged together, the audience clapped and cheered. I guess every job has its day. In fact, we got more applause than the star at the end of the show. My parents were proud, and so was I. After that, I stopped worrying so much about my size. In fact, I decided that mom was right after all. Being small had its advantages.